Good, good, let the hate flow through you. Why is Battlefront receiving so much hate? To be honest, I played the hell out of the beta and I loved it. It just may be my favorite multiplayer game that I've ever played, being completely honest about that. I admit there are many things wrong with this game, as there is with any game. However, I feel the gaming community these days focuses too much on the bad and not enough on the good, especially in the case of Star Wars Battlefront. There are good things about Battlefront, and yes, there are bad things too. So today I want to talk about the most popular gripes people are having with this game, but also I want to try and convince you that it's not as bad as people are making it out to be, and stop you from joining the dark side. Even though I do agree with some of these points to a certain degree, or from a certain point of view. Also, please keep in mind that the game is not even released yet, and there have been several negative points made about this game that have been proven to just not be true. I'm going to get to these in just a minute. Until the game is actually released and we play it, everything positive or negative we say is still up for grabs. So my first gripe that I hear a lot is that it's not like Battlefront 1 or 2. Have you even played Battlefront 2 recently? Before the beta was released, I was playing Battlefront 2 for hours to relive one of my favorite childhood games. When you play Battlefront 2, it feels outdated, as it should though, because it came out 10 years ago in 2005. The gameplay is very different from any shooting game today. Specifically, the time to kill an enemy soldier is fairly high, you can run really fast, you jump high, and you can roll around to make dodging rockets and missiles fairly easy. I think if you go ahead right now and you play some Battlefront 2, it'll be fun, but it will also feel really clunky, and the aiming will feel weird if you compare it to other shooters you've played on PC recently. The new Battlefront is a reboot of the series. It's not Battlefront 3. It should feel completely different, play different, and feel more modern, which I believe it does. Character players move at reasonable speeds, you don't jump as high, and they've taken out rolling, which I think would just look ridiculous if you see that on the battlefield. You choose your weapon and star cards instead of a predefined class. So these are all changes that don't necessarily make the game better or worse, but make it appeal to a more modern audience. And I think if you reskin Battlefront 2 with better graphics, like modern graphics, it would not appeal to modern gamers, and it would just feel really out of place. Now, an actual gripe about the differences is that in the new Battlefront, you can't play certain game modes on certain maps. And this is actually a good thing. Let me explain that. So playing Walker Assault on Hoth in the beta was loads of fun. However, playing Team Deathmatch on that same map, it would just feel ridiculous. Spawn points would be even more messed up than they already are, somewhat. My point is that maps in the new Battlefront are designed specifically for the game modes you play on them. It isn't a generic map of Hoth, it is Walker Assault on Hoth. Another big gripe is that we are missing episodes 1, 2, and 3, and it's pretty much impossible to say that that is okay. I mean, we may or may not see these in upcoming DLC, but do we deserve those in the standalone game? Yes, I said that as a question. I'm going to go into further detail about the DLCs in just a minute. Lastly, something I see written on just about every comments section on YouTube for Star Wars Battlefront videos is the lack of space battles. And every time I see that, I just think it's childish to be upset about that. Yes, Star Wars is a universe where people are flying spaceships in space. But what does that come down to as a game mode and gameplay? In Battlefront, we are getting to play Fighter Squadron mode, which is basically the space battle replacement. Fighter Squadron looks amazing, as we've seen in the gameplay trailer. We get X-Wings, TIE Fighters, you get to pilot the Millennium Falcon and the Slave One. There are player-controlled ships, there are AI-controlled ships, there's a lot going on. But you do actually never get to board or take down an enemy Star Destroyer, which is pretty lame. But whether you're flying your ship above a planet or in the blackness of space, the gameplay is essentially the same. And I think people are just being really whiny saying no space battles is such a big loss, because Fighter Squadron mode is essentially the same thing, or at least very, very close. But seriously, I said it before, I'm going to say it again right now. If you haven't played Battlefront 2 recently, I really suggest you do. I think after playing it for a couple of hours, it will be hard to say bad things about the new Battlefront if you've played the beta. In comparison, the overall experience of Battlefront is just improved. If you still are really hurt by the game modes missing in the new ones, just remember there are plenty of new modes that we haven't seen before. There are things missing from Battlefront 2, but there are also plenty of new things we should be excited for. probably missed a bunch of things, but overall, anything not included from Battlefront 2 to me is just a minor setback. Minor, guys. Next gripe is the balance of gameplay in the beta. There was a large consensus that Walker Assault was one-sided for Imperials. This seemed partially true at the beginning of the beta, though I found that after a couple of days in my games at least, Rebels were winning just as much as Imperials. The reason Rebels were losing, from my point of view, is because it may have not been obvious to players right away that you need to capture the uplink stations to get more Y-bombers, also maybe not knowing which weapons to use to take down the Walker, etc. Other balancing issues was the spawns. This happens in majority of shooting games out there. This was the beta and something that can be easily fixed in the final release. Seriously though, in the beta we played 3 game modes on 3 different maps. This was a small percentage of the final game and I don't see how people can be so harsh so soon. Last thing I wanted to mention is probably the only actual real bad thing about Star Wars Battlefront is yes, and you know what I'm going to say, it's the frickin' DLC and the stupid deluxe edition. This is where I jump on the bandwagon and really want to hate Battlefront as much as everyone else does. To me, the game as itself is solid and really fun, but the way they market the 4 DLCs, you have to wonder, did they intentionally hold this content back from the standard edition to make more money? Or is this actually considered new original content that's an afterthought for the developers? Probably not. How can you measure if a certain DLC should or shouldn't have already been in the standard release for the game? It's hard to say, but what is true and truly evil is that you will pay $140 for the Ultimate Edition to get everything. Or, you pay $80 for the standard game and then you wait for the DLCs to come out and you purchase them individually. Either way, I think paying in advance for something that we know nothing about is really risky. But just keep in mind, pre-ordering is purely optional. And do not get me started on the deluxe edition. Holy shit. Sorry I had to swear there, but seriously, it's crap. I will just say do not buy the deluxe edition. For $10 extra is $90. $10 extra you get 3 items instantly that you can unlock easily for free after a couple rounds, and you get 2 exclusive emotes. Who cares about emotes? Not me. Don't waste the extra $10. It's just stupid. I love Battlefront as the game itself, but I do hate, yes, I hate the way they market it. Anyways, let me know where you stand on Star Wars Battlefront in the comments below. If you're looking forward to Battlefront, you're on the light side, and obviously if you hate the new Battlefront, you are joining the dark side. As always, please like, rate, and subscribe for more videos.